This is the Chicagoan channel, doing another watch review of my latest watch. I have already done 2 reviews of 2 different watches of mine, one of which, the Tissot watch, I recently just gifted to my father. So this is a Gevril Yorkville chronograph. It's a real good premium mid-end watch. So far, here are my deductions of this watch after having owning it for a little while. This is a very accurate movement in this watch. It has the ETA Valjoux 7750, a modern Valjoux 7750, not old stock or anything like that. It's definitely a new rendition of the Valjoux 7750, Swiss made, as you can see. Let me refocus. I'm trying to do both hands, pardon this. Well, focus, there you go, it focused nicely. It's a chronograph with a date adjuster, has a screw down crown, a very nice decorated crown there, and nice firm buttons. And from reading the specifications of this on Caliber Corner, it has no plastic parts. It's all sapphire crystal front and back. It's a 316L stainless steel, which is similar to that of Rolex oyster steel in regards to that 316L. L stands for low carbon, and Rolex oyster steel is 904L low carbon, and it's just almost pretty much just a variation of the molybdenum content in these low carbon steels, which are the molybdenum. The molybdenum gives it extra hardness and corrosion resistance. 316L is usually like a 2 to 4% molybdenum content, and oyster steel, Rolex 904L steel, is a 4 to 6% content of molybdenum. So it's essentially 316L is otherwise known as also surgical steel. Same stuff that's used to make scalpels and surgical instruments and whatnot, because are requiring for high corrosion resistance and hardness, and they can obtain sharpnesses and whatnot. It's a very beautiful watch. It's very heavy. It's the heaviest one out of them all. It's only 43 millimeter, so it's the smaller in size out of the other 2 watches, but it's surprisingly very heavy. You can feel it. It feels nicer than some watches that are more expensive than it, and it's got a very beautifully crafted rotor there, self-winding rotor. If I can get a little bit nicer, there you go, you can see it nice. It's got a really beautifully crafted rotor there. It's engraved and painted and whatnot, and the chassis that the rotor is mounted to, the movement it's all very top notch. This is number 86 out of 500 pieces to be made. 20 bars of water resistance. The little fish with the number 20 is representing 20 bars of water resistance. It's essentially a dive style unidirectional rotating bezel. 20 bars is about 700 feet, 660, 70 feet. So, which is quite good. It is glow in the dark. It is a painted dial. But regardless of the somewhat simplicity of the dial being painted, and as in like no jewels and whatnot, the bezel is nice, and it's definitely, it's not ceramic bezel, but it's a very nicely crafted, anodized, and the blue anodization, and then it's got a glow in the dark pearl, and then engraved and then painted markers around the bezels, because it's not just surface painted, it's engraved and then painted over, so it's definitely, not cheaped out on. And surprisingly, upon playing with the chronograph, I'll even demonstrate a minute. It's very interesting. The minute hand. This is this newer rendition of this, and I've read some reviews, other people's opinions on this new Value 7750 is that an Omega forum was saying that it's probably one of the most accurate movements that person had worked on, and I'm not shitting, compared to a lot of other watches and specifications I read about them, plus or minus, a couple of seconds or a few seconds, or God forbid more. This, and I'll explain further in a minute as I'll demonstrate the chronograph precision. It doesn't creep along as it's moving. Watch the minute. It just right to the next indicator. It doesn't slowly creep along from marker to marker. It just stays steady, and then right dead on balls to the next marker, and it does that through and through. There's no need to further continue elaborating that. So aside from that, as I was going to continue about the accuracy, I've only had to set this twice. I've had it for a couple months now. I set it once when I got it, and I had to set it again, of course, for daylight savings. It's been running for a good while, like more than a couple of weeks, and it's only gained upon observing from my phone and other perfectly dead on accurate time sources. It's only gained around a minute and a half at best. That's after 2 weeks plus. That's surprisingly extremely accurate, and for an automatic, for a lot of automatics, and especially for this price point, many Rolexes aren't even that accurate. Many watches, they're tens of thousands, maybe even more expensive, maybe with the exception of Jaeger LeCoultre, the watchmaker's watch, or maybe a Patek or something. This is every bit as accurate, maybe even more. I'm not kidding. This thing, it's only gained around a minute and a half, and it hasn't continued to succeed anymore. It's an extremely accurate automatic movement. It really is. So other than that, it's got a two-place crown or stem, two-position stem, screw-down crown. First position is for, as dual language for setting the day and the date. The second position is obviously for setting the time. So once again, this is the Chicagoan, and this is a very beautiful watch. Price points. The price of this watch on the web from the manufacturer's MSRP. I did get it from the manufacturer because I just don't want to risk any type of knockoffs or anything like that, or counterfeits. No counterfeits, and no gray markets, because I've done my homework. Gray market watches have lower resale value if you want to resell it than non-gray market watches. and it's just with the way that stuff is. There's so much counterfeiting type stuff. It's a risk, and there's only 500 of these pieces being made, so that's a potential indicator right there that you end up getting this from a gray market or somewhere else, and it says it's 86 out of 500 or something like that. It's bunk. It's counterfeit because I got this from the horse's mouth, from the factory, and it's legitimate. That being said, international warranty, and the price point on this watch was manufacturer retail price is $5,300. Illinois taxes 8% ish, 8% tax, so it was nearly $6,000, $5,700. But I can tell you right now, it's a very beautiful piece. It's extremely well crafted, and it's worth every penny, and it's extremely accurate. No horseshit, this is an extremely accurate one. I've only had to set it twice, and each time it doesn't stray any more than, it hasn't strayed any more than a minute and a half, about, and that's well past 2 weeks now. And it's a beautiful satin finish. I thought about playing around with it, taking it to a fine jeweler and having them, mirror finishing it, but I don't debate it. It's got these beautiful polished, there you go, beautiful polished accents around the case on both sides, the same. And it's got similar polished accents along the clasp there. Very nicely, made clasp. Very, real thick Rolex watches. I've been looking into getting a starter Rolex for myself around $10,000, and it does have a thin clasp. Not that I would particularly complain. This is also a ratchet clasp as well, and it's it has adjustments, as you can see right there. Don't need no further elaborating on that. Just from the picture alone, any watch enthusiast will know exactly what that is and about there. It is a premium quality clasp. It's heavy duty, robust. It's nothing about this watch is cheap. The dial might be somewhat more basically, just a printed dial and somewhat basic looking, dial hands. But everything else about this it's got it going on. Once again, this is the Chicagoan. I hope you enjoy this channel, and I hope you like and subscribe, please and thank you. That way I can continue to further. And by the way, one last, it's got the Inca Block anti-shock system, which is like a little double wishbone, M-shaped double wishbone anti-shock over the balance wheel and the escapement. And in addition, this watch here, one second, recollecting the thoughts. Its power reserve is a 48-hour power reserve, so it's very nice. And that little tidbit about the screw down crown, you do have to be mature about it, conservatively mature about it, and careful. You don't want to cross thread that sucker, putting it back in. You do want to be conservative about that. And it comes with a very nice box. Very nice box. And once again, this is the Chicagoan. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.